So for this guy, he's pushing back on having a call. So we don't really have permission yet, I feel,
Yes.
to send him to request a call. So here's where I would say, let's just um, do something
So
here. Yeah,
kind
so
of
let's
like
go.
another template for pushing back.
Yeah, so let's go ahead here and make a distinction between when it's okay to ask for a call and when more information is required before we ask for a call. The keys here are: do not push too hard, do not seem too anxious to get on a call. Related would be uh, take a soft touch and be flexible about if you have a call or not. So the more, usually the more you want something, seem to want, it's the less others wish to give it. Is kind of
Yes.
how things work when you don't know somebody too well. So so this topic here is we're talking about how to follow up with people to convert LinkedIn messages to calls. And the idea is that there's the message and then there's the call. And then on the call, we are getting them to know us, hopefully to like us, and then support us. And this is the same thing that works for speaking with juniors and executives. Could you hold on 1 second?
Yes.
Just give me 1 second. All right. So how to follow up with people to convert LinkedIn messages to calls. So this works for juniors and executives, and it's that same process. And with juniors, we're trying to collect information. Basically we call the informational interviewing part, so that we don't waste our calls with executives on that. This is more discuss dynamics, find common interests, discuss networking interests, get introductions, and advice on next steps with company of interest or companies of interest. So that's the topic here. And so if we look at, just go ahead and save that screen. So if we look at what that means in the case of these messages that you're looking at now, we got two people. So this example,
Yeah. I
somebody,
haven't gone through the rest yet. I'm still going through it
it's
as
okay.
we talk.
Okay. So the example here is, hey, I'd like to join your professional network. Hey, this person said, and then you say follow up and you say, hey, using our template, always great to add you. Great to see what you're doing. A little bit about me. I'd like to have a call. I'm sure you're busy. I'll take our conversation to email. And then, hi, right? Things are busy. You are meeting him at a spot where he says, I'm busy. And you understand that he's busy. He's happy about that. I'm doing this thing. It'd be better to talk after the holiday. And then he has a question to confirm. So this person is open to having a call, whereas this person is saying, after you send the request to connect, and then the request for a call. This person says, hey. Oh, there was no response here. So you sent the follow-up message. Did you run that on an automation?
I'm sorry?
Did you send this message as part of an automation? Was this an automated message or did you?
No, I think that's your, like, we work it through the last time we met.
Right. Did you add it as an automated message?
Let me check.
Okay, we'll check later. Okay, if you don't know, it's okay. I want to stick with my point here. You sent the request for a call and followed up with that. And then, hey, I've been busy. I prefer to chat a bit over LinkedIn first. So this person's pushing back and saying, I'm not open to a call yet. I want to see if it's like a good, good thing for our interests matching. Now, who knows what his interests are? If you're asking for advice and he's willing to provide advice, then there's a good match. If he is a giver, then it's a good match. If he wants to take something from you, it's not a good match, because there's just kind of two kinds of people, are the givers and the takers, right? And then there's the kind which are kind of reciprocal. So if you give me something first, I will give something back to you. So we don't really know. All we can do is try to satisfy their curiosity. But here we're not ready to ask for a call. In this message, he said he'd be happy to have a call. And so we send a message like this saying, hey, like letting them know that we hear them and what they're saying, and then confirming our interest in speaking after the holiday when they're convenient, answering his question that you'd be willing to share more on a call. And then if I send us an email or calendar invite for this period into the future, would that be okay? And he'll say yes or no. You've given it, 1 or 2 weeks or 3 weeks in advance. So it's like you're not trying to rush him at all.
Yes.
And that's good, because as we're getting many, many meetings on the calendar, we don't care if the meeting is in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because every day passes, we're setting up a new meeting. Soon we're having meetings all the time. And sure, they were set up 2 weeks ago, but they're on a rolling basis. And so it feels like, with maybe some delay, eventually it will feel like we're having regular calls and we're not worried about whether it's in a week or 2 weeks or even 3 weeks sometimes. So with Ryan, we can't ask for the call. So we want to say something a little bit different. We want to answer his question. And get his advice to see if he'd be willing to speak. So great to hear that you have a grasp of firmware. A grasp of firmware in its different implementations. Previously, I worked in firmware testing focused on optical modules. Let's see here. You said firmware is pretty broad nowadays. So where do you want to position? So he has some perspective. Great to hear that you have a perspective of firmware in its different implementations. Previously, I worked in firmware testing focused on optical modules. So you're answering his question. And right now, you're asking for help, basically. Why are you reaching out to me? Well, I'm reaching out to gain more perspective on where to take my degree this summer during an internship. And then if he'd be open to having a call, I can share more. And you can ask it as a question. It's good to ask, when you can, post things as a question, because that usually prompts a response. Better than a period. Having a question mark is good. So what do you think about this message?
Yeah.
Does this work for you?
I think it's fine. I don't see any problems.
All right. Let's send it. So that was sent. And so you can copy and paste this message again into a kind of whatever storage note
Yeah,
here,
I never, yeah,
pushing
I
back
didn't
on
know.
person who may not be ready for a call. And then you would tag this, whatever tagging that you would want. You could call this more questions before a call. And then you could have handling a busy schedule and seeking to confirm a time. I mean, it could all be all of those things. All right.